Nam yo ho ning ge cho 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 nam yo ho ning ge.
Hi, I'm Margaret, and this is the website where we take Buddhist philosophy and practice and apply it to the problems of everyday life. Now, recently, I've gotten several questions about financial karma and what do we do about this? So I'm going to focus on that today. But before we get into financial karma specifically, let's review what our relationship is to the universe. As Daisaku Ikeda says, in the innermost depths of all beings, there's the primal life force, and it causes living beings to live. The same force supports inorganic matter and works it into the harmonies and rhythms of the great cosmic existence. Now, we call it the mystic law. And that life force is so close to us, it breathes us. We cannot take a breath without it. It permeates every cell, and its intelligence controls the organs of our bodies without any conscious control from us. We've learned through Buddhism that we are an individualized expression of that life force and have the same characteristics it has. In the same way, a wave has the characteristics of the ocean. We are eternal. We have intelligence and consciousness, and we have the ability to be creative and bring thoughts into form. The life force of the mystic law manifests as laws in this universe. For example, oneness of self and environment. We can see that the cosmos itself is operating with predictability and that there are many laws: physics, astronomy, chemistry, electricity, etc. It also creates the world of spirit, instincts, and urges. Since there is order and predictability everywhere in the universe, there's going to be predictability in how the mind works to produce our goals. Now, the mystic law doesn't have limitations. It's the ninth level of consciousness that underlies and permeates the phenomenal world. When you consider that we're like a wave is to the ocean, then we must have the same characteristics as the mystic law or life itself, which doesn't have limits. Why then does it seem as though we have many limitations appearing in our world? And some of these can be related to our financial lives. Let's think about what we're doing when we set a goal. Science says that there's a formless substance, a thinking stuff, called the quantum field. I think of it as the first level of manifestation in the material world, just next to consciousness itself. It contains the potentiality of an infinite number of possibilities. It remains as a superposition state, a state of undefined potentiality, treading water until an observer comes along and the particles are observed. At that point, they assume any one of a number of possibilities, an infinite number of possibilities. So we, the observer, are woven into the very fabric of reality. And this is described by You Are the Universe, with Chopra and Kafatos as the authors. When we set a goal, we're impressing it upon this intelligent substance. And if we hold to the thought of what we want, the cause, it will ultimately show up in the physical world, the effect. This is one of the predictable laws, the laws of cause and effect, or oneness of self in the environment, the Buddhist way of saying it. So why are we often then living what we don't want if we have that creative power? Let's examine about how we've been raised. We've been trained by authorities in our lives who operate from cultural beliefs. We're taught that before we have the capacity to decide whether they're true, so we just accept the model of reality that we're given. And what might some of these be with regard to money? Well, there's not enough to go around. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money is the root of all evil. If you become rich, you become selfish. Loving money isn't spiritual. Now, you remember the definition of karma? With thoughts, words, and actions, we're setting a seed in our lives which will produce an effect when the time is right. As Nietzsche has said, Quote, if you want to understand the causes that existed in the past, look at the results as they are manifested in the present. And if you want to understand what results will be manifested in the future, look at the causes that exist in the present. So think about your past thinking about money. If you look at these thoughts and understand that we're impressing them on the quantum field and that they will actualize in the material world, you can see why we might not be able to manifest what we want. So, what can we do about this? We need to work on mastering the mind and learn how to direct what we're projecting on purpose to the universe so we can create better future effects. So, how could we chant about finances then? Well, first, I would chant to change my financial karma, to change whatever it is within my life blocking me from creating the results I want. And then I would make a determination that I'm going to overcome whatever I discover. And then second, start to pay attention to the thoughts that you're thinking. Accept that present results reflect causes you've made in the past, and that what you're thinking now is going to create effects in the future. Now, one way to become aware of what you're thinking is to observe your physical reactions, because our bodies do respond to our thoughts. Think of, I'm embarrassed and I flush. I just noticed that I'm feeling tight and constricted. And then ask yourself, what have I been thinking? Was I thinking that there's never enough? Or had I just noticed that I'm feeling expanded? What was I thinking then? Was I just reading that we live in an abundant universe and then having a feeling of expansion and loosening happen in my body? Since your body responds to your thinking, it can be used as a barometer for what's going on there when we begin to really notice. Third, then chant for practical steps you can take to deal with your financial situation. For example, do you need a financial advisor? If so, chant for a good one, and then chant for the courage to follow through with that person's recommendations. If you're having problems with credit card debt, chant to take responsibility for your situation and find the right person to help at the credit card company. Sometimes debt's repayment can be reduced to pennies on the dollar. Fourth, practice gratitude on a daily basis for what you do have. Have you ever noticed that half the prayers in our liturgy are prayers of gratitude? It's because gratitude brings us closer to the source of our benefits. Fifth, challenge your financial situation with the coming up May contribution. When you succeed in meeting your goal, it'll give you confidence to address the other parts of your situation. Chant for what you really want financially, and then notice any doubts that come up. And if you find them, change your attention and focus again on what you want. You've created a force for what you want, and maintaining a focus on doubt can neutralize it. When you continually hold to your vision and hold to the expectation your vision will manifest, you have created a drawing power that attracts to you what you're holding in mind. And keep on keeping on. As we've discussed, our life is our curriculum, and as we chant for goals and learn one lesson after another, we're coming up step by step to open up the potential and come closer to enlightenment. So, in summary today, we discussed our relationship as individuals to the universe. We looked at what we're doing with that relationship when we chant for a goal. Finally, we discussed some common thoughts which can limit results, and then talked about the ways we can chant to overcome those limitations when dealing with a financial situation. And finally, we discussed a couple of practical steps anyone can do to clear up the results of past causes. Here are some URLs that I think might be helpful. Know how to lessen karmic retribution? Do you know what to do if battling doubts? Goal setting. Know what works and what doesn't. And as always, I really appreciate the fact that you're sending me ideas for topics, and I'm trying really hard to respond to them. Keep them coming, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.